Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tailosive Tech. I'm your host and your only host, Andrew Erickson. We're going live today because we like to do a couple live streams a week, answer all your guys' beautiful, beautiful questions, and see all of you beautiful profile pictures in the chat. Hey, everyone. Hey, Adil. Hey, Jason. Good guy. Hello. Sam Jones. Darnell. What else? We got Matthew Wu. Always fun to be here with Matthew Wu. He's always got the best jokes of all the streams. Here come the people. Here comes the chat. This is when it gets crowded. Oi, the guy who does stuff. How's it going? How are people? iPhone 9 or iPhone SE2 name, dude? What's your name? Uncle Andrew. Good name. I'm really sorry, but I really don't think the iPhone SE is happening. There's more and more rumors and more outlets claiming that there's going to be 3 new iPhones this year: the new 10, the new 10, the 10 Plus, and the 9. Those are the running names for them. They're probably not going to be named that. Okay, 9 is just what makes sense for us as analysts right now. It makes sense to call it that because it's like it's got a single camera. It doesn't have OLED. There's no 3D touch. So it's not quite as good as a 10, but since it has Face ID, since it's bezel-less, and since it's got the notch, it's not quite on the same level as 8. So when we call something an 8, we're referring to the old traditional iPhone 6 looking design. So we don't want to classify it as a 10, so that's why we're calling it 9. That's probably not what it's going to be called. Apple's probably going to call it something weird and confusing like iPhone, and then we're going to have to call it the 6.1-inch LCD iPhone 2018 edition, and everyone's going to hate that name. It's going to be a terrible name. I'm going to hate it. I like calling it 9 just because that's easy to remember. It's a single syllable. There's no other iPhone called 9, so there's only one size for it, so I would rather call it that. They may end up calling the new ones the 10, or they may call it the 10 Plus, or they may call it the 11 or the 11 Plus, which would be weird because they're being released in September, which is in poor taste. So I don't know exactly what they're going to be called. We never know what they're going to be called, usually up until like a week before it drops. So, yeah. Will the new iPhones have USB-C or Lightning? They will have Lightning. If they had USB-C, we would definitely know about it by now. We're way too close to the release for a last-minute change-up like that to happen, like a last-minute, like, oh, and there's also no ports. Like, we would know that. Like, we knew the iPhone 7 would not have a headphone jack like 6 months before it came out. Okay, so something big like that is hard to miss. Little things like, oh, it's coming out in this color. That's the kind of stuff that comes out like a couple months right now. This is the time frame in which manufacturing has started. And when they're mass producing these things, it's very difficult to have secrets that we don't know about. What do you think about new Apple Watch? And functionally, it's not going to be very different, Alex. For the most part, the new Apple Watch at best is going to be a design update. It's going to have a larger display, thinner bezels, maybe look a little thinner. That's about it. That's not a huge update for the Apple Watch this year, but it will look different. And since the Apple Watches have all pretty much looked the same for the past, as long as the Apple Watches have existed, it makes sense that, you know, it would be a design upgrade, just like the iPhone 10. Hey, Zach Talks Tech Super Chat. It says, here, go buy a coffee. Enjoyed your appearance on Recycle Bin and chatting with you last week with Viper Stream. Was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. I love being on all of your guys' channels. I love Viper's channel. I loved what's this front page text? I'm sorry. I'm out of a slow morning here. It's a Monday. Give me a break. I know him very well. We're good friends. I was blanking on the name for just a second. Anyway, we were texting each other this morning. Actually, we were having fun. Anyway, Super Saiyan Super Chat. It says, what do you think about the Turing phone? About the Turing phone cadenza? I do not think about that because I'm sorry, I do not know what that is. I'm completely out of the loop there. I'm going to search that and see if you had a typo or if I'm just out of the loop. Oh, good. It's a good Google suggestion. Okay, this is a phone. This is a real phone. This is not a typo. Okay, I don't know anything about this phone. Sadly, I will have to do some more research on it before I comment on it. From the quick Google search I've found, it looks like it's got a 1 terabyte storage, 12 gigabytes of RAM, and a 60 megapixel camera. Is this the one with 9 cameras on the back? I don't remember. Let me see some pictures of it. Probably not. No, this looks different. Back of it looks very odd. I don't know. I don't have thoughts on the Turing phone cadenza, but thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. So some network I subscribe to has been filling up my feed. Could you tell that Apple Sheep guy to let up a little? Keep it up. Thank you. Yeah, we're working full time today. We do take a little bit of a break, me and Xander. We slow down content on the weekends a little bit. So basically our work format goes like this. On the weekdays, we want to edit and finish 3 videos a day. So typically that's a tech video, a talks video, and then one other thing, whether it's a gaming video or a movie review or a Saturday short. We want to have 3 videos come out on the weekdays. And then on the weekends, we scale it down to 1. So on the weekends, we want to just do a tech video, maybe one other thing I'll work on. Maybe I'll do a gaming stream or something like that. So Saturday, Sunday, upload 1 tech video a day. And then on the weekdays, we upload a bunch of stuff. So today we're back to work. This is officially 1 week into Xander full-time. So anyway, more super chats here. From Viper says, I need you to explain to the people that the Apple consumer is not the average consumer. I don't know entirely if I agree with that, Viper. I think it's too far to say that the Apple consumer is one thing. I think the Apple consumer is very diverse. I agree that there are a lot of Apple consumers that are not the average consumer, but I also agree that there are a lot of average consumers that buy iPhones. There's both. There's the people that are making the iPhone 8, the top selling iPhone right now. Those are the average consumers. They don't care about bezel-less. They don't care about dual camera. They don't care about stuff like that. They just want a new iPhone shipping with iOS. It's fast. It's got some fairly decent features, waterproofing, stereo speakers, wireless charging, things we find standard these days in most flagships. All they want is that. And I think a lot of people who buy into Apple are the average consumer. I even to some extent can consider myself the average consumer. He's been hanging out with John too much. Did I ever disagree with that, Viper? Did I? Did I ever say that Apple users are not the average consumer? I mean, there are definitely, there's both. Apple consumer, they're the most, I don't know how you can't call them average when iPhones sell better than all other smartphones. It's been 10 months since the refresh, and still Apple is in 3 out of the top 5 sold iPhones, sold smartphones in 2018. They're still all 3 of the new iPhones are within the top 5, right? So that's got to be somewhat average, because if average means the most normal, the most common, then iPhones are average to a lot of people. I don't think I ever disagreed with John on that. That's just how I think. Ren super chatted and said hi. His name is Shayakai. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that, but thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Lucas Van Husson says, I'm going to pick up my 2 HomePods this weekend. Should I use them in different rooms or as a stereo pair? What is your experience with your HomePods? The stereo mode is dope. I'm really mad it took them so long to come out with it, because I don't think it's a complicated setup. I feel like that code should have been written in a weekend. Maybe it's more complicated than I realized, but now that stereo mode is a thing, I love it. The 2 HomePods communicating together makes such a crisp and full, loud sound. So I guess it really depends on the rooms. We also have a HomePod in our gaming room because we like listening to music there and controlling our smart lights from in there. So, it can kind of be good to have multiple ones if you don't plan on I need full volume. Just try it out. That's the great thing. You can be put one in one room, see if it's loud enough for you. If you're this could be louder, then do the stereo mode. But if you're no, one HomePod, and you'll see, is pretty crazy loud. They get very loud. If that's good enough for one room, then definitely, yeah, put one in another room. Absolutely. Super Saiyan says, observe the Razer Blade Pro gaming laptop PC. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting gaming Razer laptops, but that's not very new. Razer's always made some pretty quality stuff. Sometimes I think they can be a little pricey for what they make, but yeah, usually their laptop line is pretty impressive. I could make a video about it, just saying hey, this is cool. But I mean, I think that's something most people know about, whereas I wanted to make something about the ROG phone because we primarily talk about smartphones on this channel. I'm not so much definitely not a gaming laptop channel or a PC building channel and stuff like that. So I was this is a phone that not enough people know about. A lot of iPhone users don't know about this, whereas Razer, I think, is far more common known brand. All the laptops I'm looking at on their website now look awesome. And I know that their specs are great, and the price for the specs is usually pretty good. up to 17-inch displays. Wow, that's crazy. They got the trackpad on the side of the keyboard. I don't know if I like that, but maybe it helps for gaming, but trackpads definitely aren't great for gaming either. So anyway, I could do a video about that. I just don't think that many people would be interested in it. Chop Tech says, enjoy your channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, iOS 11.4.1 came out. Hype. I guess that's exciting for some people. I'm definitely all in on the iOS 12 betas, so I'm not really invested in iOS 11 anymore. So you can check out everything Apple Pro's video on all the changes they made if you're curious. But yeah, I'm definitely out of iOS 11. How did you get started in the lifestyle/tech editorial scene? Asks enlightened Apple fanboy. Oh, good. We got an enlightened Apple fanboy in the chat. So basically, I was making comedy skits and action scenes for my channel. That's how I got views. I mean, I wasn't really getting views. I had one channel, Tailosive. There was no network. And I was basically making these little comedy skits with my friends, and no one was watching them. They were getting like 10 views, 12 views a video. No one cared. Sometimes less than that. So I was like, okay, let's start making some content that maybe people are searching for, since no one is searching the word Tailosive. So that's when I got the idea to do a network. And really, it just came down from like YouTube released this update where you could click your channel in the top right corner, and at the bottom, there was an option to add channel, add account. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, you can manage several YouTube channels at the same time. As soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, there's an idea here. I've got an idea. So at the same time, I made a tech channel, a gaming channel, movie review channel, music channel, bunch of channels all simultaneously. Talks came later, actually. Talks was kind of later on. But I was like, let's have this idea where I can make any content I can think of. I can review movies, I can play games, I can talk about tech. That was just a side of YouTube I watched. It was not like all I watched on YouTube. I was never at any point did I go to YouTube to watch tech videos. It was just something I would tune into sometimes. What I mostly watched on YouTube was like comedy skit channels or animated channels, like cartoons and stuff. And then I started getting into movie reviews. And still to this day, I watch more movie reviews than tech videos. But I would tune into tech because I liked Apple and I have thoughts on Apple here and there. So still to this day, yeah, tech is not my primary like content I watch. But I was like, I have some thoughts on tech, and I've been arguing in a lot of people's comment sections. Maybe I should, actually make some tech videos so I can voice my opinion. And that's where I was as balanced and as neutral as possible on my tech channel and tried to be as fair as possible. No one watched that. So then I started being more biased and more honest. And I just started brutally saying anything I was thinking, which was that Apple's better. I prefer Apple. So that's the way it went. Anyway, sorry for people where audio is choppy. There's really not much I can do about that. It could be on YouTube's end. It could be on your end. So sorry if audio's choppy, but I'm streaming with the built-in the Chrome streamer. So I really don't know what I can do about it. I apologize. APFS is broken and jailbreaks are coming out. Yes, Dunk, I know jailbreaks are coming out. I've seen the videos on jailbreak. You know what? I just realized maybe there is something I can do. I could maybe plug in an external mic. I don't know exactly if that'll help. We'll see. We'll see. Some people are complaining a little bit. Front page text saying literally sounds fine. What are you talking about? Okay, I hope he's not sarcastic because then it's just sabotage. That's okay. Anyway, super chat here from Juiced says, so the MacBooks are rumored to be released soon. Do you think they will present them next to the iPhones or at a separate event? Some people are saying it sounds fine. So sorry, I think it's not a big enough problem for me to stop the stream and stop answering questions. But anyway, I would prefer it if Apple just had one more keynote and released all the hardware at the same time. Like, I would prefer it if they were like, here's the new iPhones, the new Apple Watch, here's the new iPad, and the MacBooks. I think if Apple was efficient with their keynotes and they didn't waste any time, they could easily do that. But I know from history that Apple is not efficient with their keynotes. They're not quick and they're not fast. They stretch things out. They fluff them up and they put stuff in there that doesn't need to be there. So in that case, I'm going to anticipate that there will be 2 keynotes this year. Usually on the years that there's no hardware at the Worldwide Developers Conference, then that usually means that there will be 2 keynotes later. That usually means there will be the iPhone keynote and then like the iPad/Mac keynote. There will be 2 keynotes, one's for the smartphones and one for the smartphones and Apple Watches, and then one for the iPads and MacBooks. That's typical Apple. That's how Apple goes. But who knows? As John Prosser often says, Apple's a very different company this year. They've been doing a lot of things differently. So maybe they can release everything at the same time. That's what I want. I like efficiency. I don't like these keynotes where they drag everything out and they bore us to death. So I would prefer one keynote, but that's probably not going to happen. Anyway, next super chat from Super Saiyan says, I've heard rumors of the iPhone 9 Apple had skipped. We're calling the 6.1-inch LCD model the 9. Will it actually be called the 9? Probably not. It'll probably be called something else. We can't predict that. They probably honestly haven't decided. They don't decide these things before, like, until the marketing starts and stuff like that. So we don't know exactly what it's going to be called, but that's just, as analysts, that's what we're referring to it as now, because that's much easier to say than 6.1-inch LCD. I wish, why the 0.1? You ever think about that? Like, what made them decide, like, 6-inch? No, 6.1? That's it. We need the 6.1-inch. Like, the 6-inch is just too small. So, like, they have to ruin, like, the syllables with the 0.1 and the complications. How much easier wouldn't it have been if they just called it the 6-inch iPhone? Wouldn't that have been fine? What's so wrong with that? Like, and then, yeah, at the same time, there's other rumors saying it'll be called the updated 10 and 10 Plus. That rolls off the tongue pretty easier. And the reason most of us are not saying 11 and 11 Plus is the obvious. We don't think Apple's going to release an iPhone 9 and an iPhone 11. That just, in the September time, that's just a bad idea. Maybe they will. I don't know. Maybe they'll just go there and say, like, yeah, forget it. Or the 10S. I thought they dropped the S line. If they were still doing the S line, wouldn't they have called the 8 the 7S? I thought they were done with the S line. I don't know. Apple's naming is stupid. It doesn't matter. They should do 9, 10, 11. They should have, but it's too late for them. They skipped 9 anyway, so maybe they're going back to it this year. I don't know. Slightly intrusive question. Here's how your CP has been really, my channel has been lower than usual. CPMs have been okay. No real complaints. Sorry to hear that yours aren't doing too well. I don't go into specifics of how much I make on my channel, because that's when people start getting real judgy or controllive. People are like, oh, you make this much, then you can do X, Y, Z, and then you could do this and make more money. So I don't go into specifics, but yeah, I would say that our CPM revenue has been doing okay. Yeah. Just looking at it now, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't seem lower than normal. We're doing okay. That may help. That may be very helpful, thanks to you guys, all your super chats. Daniel Curry says, if Apple and Microsoft bought out a joint hardware software project, what benefits of both do you feel it would include? They demoed Microsoft Office apps on the iPad Pro keynote, which I thought was funny. So, I mean, that's the closest we'll get to an Apple Microsoft joint project. In terms of hardware, I don't see that happening, like, ever. Like, Apple would never partner with another company that would also market it as their own product. Like, I mean, Apple will hire LG or Samsung to make display components for the iPhone, but they would never put the LG logo on the iPhone. That's just that's not something Apple would do. But I don't know. It'd probably be like a Surface Pro running iOS or something weird like that. I don't know. It's not going to happen. Super says, and iPhone 10 Plus. Oh, yeah. No, I think the fact that there will be a bigger version of the 10 means that there will be a Plus in one of the iPhones this year, whatever it's called. I don't like jailbreaking, John. Jailbreaking's dead. It's not that helpful. I've seen the features it adds. They've never been worth it to me. The amount of complications and work you have to put into jailbreaking a device, I'm just like, I'd rather not. Literally the case that it can, like, brick your phone and erase the OS, that's possible with jailbreaking. Like, no thanks. I'm not interested in jailbreak. Just no, thank you. Ever have a chance to Twitter, etc.? Do you think PWAs have a chance? It's Twitter. Like, they still don't even allow edited tweets. Why would they allow PWAs to have a chance? I don't know. I use the stock Twitter app. I know I could be using the stock because chronological tweets are so important. They are, but I'm not going to go through the trouble of going through another third party. Whatever. What is your favorite modern iOS update? 12. Dude, I'm not a nostalgic guy. A lot of people ask stuff like that. They're like, "What is your favorite iPhone update?" Well, it's like whatever the latest one is. It's never been. And for the record, Steve Jobs was like that too. Like there's a lot of records of people trying to get him to like give credit or be nice to older or pay tribute to older versions of Macintosh or older versions of the Mac, and he was always like, "No, that time is over. We're in a new time now. We're going to pay attention to the Macintosh, and the Apple II is done. Stop focusing on the Apple II." Steve Jobs was such a modernist, such a forward thing. He was never like, he would never make something like the iPhone, the OG iPhone edition, iPhone 10 or something like that, or like the iOS 6 redesign or something like that. He would always be for the newer design, the newer layout. He was never for nostalgia stuff. So I'm the same way. I'm like, nah, iOS 12 is the best iOS, iPhone 10 is the best iPhone. There's not some other iPhone upgrade that I enjoyed more. There just isn't. He mentioned it's like sediments of rock analogy. I love that, Grant Hardy. Yeah, he was like, whereas other works of art would be looked at as hanging up a painting in a museum and you can go throughout time and look at the different paintings people made. Technology is different. It's more like layers of sediment on a mountain. Whereas, that rock, that layer of sediment helped the mountain be what it is today. That has grown it to be the tall mountain that it is. It's not seen. You don't see that layer of the mountain anymore. The only layer that you see is the top one. And that's how technology works for him. So I'm the same way. I'm like, that iPhone 5 was cool, yes, when it came out, but I'm not going to say that update was the biggest update and I was most excited for that update. The 10 is still the best. It's still the best to me. You should also check out the Smartest in R1. Let me Google that as well, just in case I don't know what it is. Oh, okay. It's a Snapdragon. Oh, phablet. Interesting. Okay. Big old phone. OnePlus 6 killed. Okay. I'll have to check that one out too. Sharvin says, congrats on 100K, bud, coming from an attorney. You would make a great defense attorney. Great points that can be backed up persuasively. Well, thank you. Thank you, Sharvin. Yeah, I feel like I am a lawyer for Apple half the time. They're just not paying me. In fact, their competition, Google, is who pays me, which I also think is just funny. It's just the wrong people are paying me. But yeah, a lot of the time, people will send me Apple complaint videos, Apple articles of complaints or problems people are having, like I'm customer support or I have to rebut it somehow. I don't, by the way. This is not Apple Defense YouTube channel. This is Tailosive Tech. I happen to have a bias towards what I think is the best tech company. You don't have to think the same way. But I think Apple, with all of its problems, is still a better tech company than anyone else. So that's my statement. So I defend them when I think that I'm in the right, and I don't defend them when I think they're in the wrong. Like, spoiler alert, there is a Apple rant video coming up very soon about the Apple TV. I am going to rip that thing apart. That thing has been atrocious. The remote specifically, the Apple TV 4K remote is drastically broken, flawed, and there isn't a way to fix it, and I'm upset about it. And I'm upset about that Apple product, and I'm going to be ripping it apart in a video lately. I also don't like most of the hardware that's coming out this year. I don't like that they haven't updated the MacBooks and iMacs with 8th gen CPUs. I don't like the 2018 iPad. I think it was an unnecessary middle step, and they should have just keep selling the 2016 iPad Pro. I don't want all in terms of iPhone updates so far has been 8 Plus is now red. I would have loved to see an SE update, and they're not doing that anymore. There's so much Apple does that I do not like, but they're still the best. Okay, there's not another company I would prefer or I think is doing a better job in the tech field. That does not mean they're perfect, and I will defend them when I think they're right, like the Ben Gates situation. A lot of people disagreed with me on that, but I did not think Apple was in the wrong there. If we talk about a different situation with like Apple Watch displays popping out, that is a design defect, and Apple should cover that. They should not let customers pay for that. Whereas I argue that the touch disease and the Bengate problems were user caused. They were not design defects. They were users treating their iPhones poorly. Whereas the Apple Watch, I don't think users were treating their Apple Watch poorly. It's just that we can differ on that opinion, but I only defend Apple when I think they're right. There's plenty of times they're in the wrong. And I actually point that out on the channel a lot. But the people who don't subscribe and don't watch more of my videos don't realize that. So they all just show up and they all don't subscribe, and they just say, Drew, you have to acknowledge that companies make mistakes sometimes, and you have to stop defending Apple no matter what. They make mistakes. No company is perfect. And I'm like, I critique them all the time. I probably critique Apple more than anyone else because I talk about Apple more than anyone else. Anyway, next super chat. Like, make sure don't skip anyone. Dong saying Steve Jobs was enthusiastic about web apps being installed to the home screen. I feel like progressive web apps on Safari bring us closer. Uber has one, Instagram, Google Maps, Telegram. I'm sure his mind would have changed as technology and software developed. We can't be like, see, Steve Jobs put a headphone jack on the iPhone, so he would have hated the 7. I mean, like, no, we can't make that assumption. That's like saying he would have hated the Lightning port because it's not the 30 pin. You know, like, I think he would have loved AirPods. I think Steve would have loved the Apple Watch too, honestly. It feels like something he would have designed himself, just so simple to use and saving steps, and a lot of people enjoy it too. Will you be streaming the Note 9 release? I don't think I streamed the S9 release, so I don't see the point in me live streaming my reaction to the Note 9 release, given it's going to be the most boring event of all time. Why do they need an event? Honestly, the Note 9 release is going to be, like, of all phone releases we've had in the past 3 years, probably the most boring one ever. The Note 8 was a little exciting because it was like coming back from the Note 7 problems, and it was the Infinity display being adopted on a Note phone. Like, this is exciting. S9 was incredibly boring. I watched the keynote. I didn't stream it because it was like, what are they changing with the S9? They're like, it's got a dual camera, and we put the Touch ID sensor where it was supposed to be. And everyone went, okay, cool. Yeah, you didn't have the dual camera before. Now you got it. Good. You're catching up. But the Note 8 had it, so it was like, oh, you put the Note 8 features on the S9. Good. Stereo speakers, also something people were all complaining about. Now they're there, all done. So what's the Note 9 going to be? This is even more boring. It's like, I'll sum it up for you. Snapdragon 845, stereo speakers, AR emoji, replaced fingerprint reader. The pen comes in yellow. Oh, never mind then. This is exciting. Do they need a keynote? I honestly feel like if Samsung's going to release 2 phones a year, 2 flagship phones a year, and you're going to update things like the Note 9 and make it so dull, you don't need an event. Just update it on the website, really. Like, it's kind of like I remember watching the OnePlus 5T keynote. They were really struggling to get people excited for that. Like, I was watching the event and they unveiled the OnePlus 5T, and the audience was like, you know, like, everyone's like, yeah, the display's a little bigger. That's cool, I guess. You know, like the Note 9 one's going to be even worse. I'm not missing super chats. I'm just answering the question first. But Chris Norton, anyway, says, would you use a Nokia smartphone? No, I have no need to. There'd be no reason to switch away from my iPhone. I don't like reviewing Androids, even though we talk about them so much. Like, ditching my iPhone so I can review an Android is just annoying, because it's like now my messages are all screwed up. Now my Apple Watch doesn't pair with it. Now, customize your skins and all this. I'm like, I don't want to customize my skins. I miss Face ID. They're like, oh, use the fingerprint reader. Fingerprint reader doesn't work for me. It's you know, like a face unlock. Oh, face unlock doesn't work when it's dark. Oh, iris unlock. Oh, iris unlock doesn't work unless you hold it exactly right. I'm like, why do I want to test these things? I don't know. What does Nokia have? Why do I care? You know, like, Nokia is not a major player anymore. The 7 and 8 had more differences than the S8 and S9. They did, honestly. I know they look very similar, so I understand people saying, like, oh, the iPhone 7, iPhone 8, same phone. The differences are much more noticeable with that upgrade. I like my skin messes with the exposure of the webcam. It shows you how white I am. Anyway, there. I think maybe there's one more. Kieran donated, no question, but appreciate the super chat. Thank you. So yeah, now we're caught up. Do you like the iPhone 9 rumors of them being colorful like the 5C? I don't like the colors they chose, but yeah, I like the idea of there being more colors of any phone. I want a red 10, I want a blue 10, but they're not doing that. They're just making the 9s colorful. So I'm okay with orange, but I wish they did the more primary colors like the yellow and the green and the purple. Instead, the colors they chose are weird. Blue, orange, and red I get red because we already have that, and blue is good. I like blue, but orange and nothing else. I don't know. That felt off. We'll see. We don't know. Maybe there is more. Nokia has a banana phone. Woohoo! So very interesting. Yeah, it does sound interesting. I got an iPhone 6s, 64 gig unlocked for 120 GBP used. Good deal. I mean, it's getting up there, so I'm not exactly sure what currency that is. Hopefully, that's a lower currency. Goodness, got a helicopter flying over. Sorry, the Minion phone. Jeez, right over. Calm down. The choppas are coming. Anyway, would you suggest buying an iMac Pro or waiting for the modular Mac Pro? Gabe, I would consider waiting for a Mac refresh just so you're sure. Oh, that's British pounds. So 120. It's fair. I think that's a fair price. I don't know if it's a steal. It's 6S is getting a little older this time of year. I'd say that's a fair price. Josh, thank you for super chatting. What do you think of Siri shortcuts yet? I haven't used them, but I definitely have noticed on watchOS 5 the option to raise the Apple Watch and start talking to it works without having to say Siri. Like you can just raise your Apple Watch and it'll start listening to you as Siri. It goes off a lot and on accident a lot, but that mode they talk about that I didn't understand has definitely been noticeable here, and it's kind of weird. Sometimes it's helpful, but sometimes it's distracting. You say on accident rather than by accident, learn grammar. No, I'm a college dropout and I make pretty good money. I'm going to do whatever I want. Boom. I'm fine with that. Did you get your AC fixed? Yes, I did. It's nice and cool in here. We don't have to run a fan while live streaming now, which is great. It's very expensive, but that's okay because it's worth it. Tailosive's not following grammar. We ain't a grammar channel. I'm a college drop. Exactly. What to expect in new MacBooks? Probably not a redesign. Probably just 8th gen CPUs, like 6-core CPUs for the 15-inch MacBook Pro, 4-core CPUs for the 13-inch, 32 gigs of RAM, stuff like that. Do you agree that Siri seems to be lagging behind just because of the privacy issues, so that Apple seems to be keeping her chained, unlike Google, who has let their AI loose, but might pose a problem in the future? So people have disagreed with me on that because I stated that like maybe Google's better because they steal more personal data and sell it to people, whereas Apple is trying to be as private and keep everything as encrypted as possible, and maybe that's why Siri's falling behind. But some people said no, everything you say to Siri gets sent back to Apple and they research it anyway. So I'm like, okay, never mind. I do think it may have something to do with Apple knowing what people use digital assistants for. I think while you may watch a lot of YouTube videos about the Google Assistant and be like, oh, Google Assistant's way smarter, she can answer way more things than Siri, you may realize more people use Siri than the Google Assistant. As in, yes, I completely agree. The Google Assistant is more useful, has more features, and is a lot smarter than Siri is. My point is, it doesn't matter because Siri has features where it counts, right? So Siri, while she may not have all the features of the Google Assistant, she has enough features that people like. That Apple brought up a great point during WWDC. Siri is used more than any other digital assistant. That's because Siri is the most accessible. She's on watches, HomePods, phones, iPads, Macs, TVs. She's everywhere. So, all right. So now Sam is saying they're sent to Apple, are anonymous, so anything they sell from that still protects your privacy. They mainly use it for diagnostics. Okay, well, I imagine Google probably does something similar. But either way, Google... the reason they're so focused on their assistant is it helps their main product, which is Google Search, right? They make all their money not from the Pixel, not from Android. All their money comes from Google Search. So if the Google Assistant helps them push their main product, which is Google Search, and help their ads and their ad revenue get better income, then that's where all their attention is going to be devoted. Whereas Apple, whether you use Siri or not, they don't make any money off of it. And Apple's primary focus is making hardware people like and buy. And they've been doing a good job with that. That's their primary focus. Siri is an accessory to that. And them having Siri for longer than Google has had the Google Assistant, and having a Siri ever since the 4S means that I think Apple knows what people use digital assistants for. and they are completely aware that random facts, asking how tall presidents are and asking about celebrities' personal lives, or not having to say hello Google a second time, those aren't things that are in Apple's primary focus. You know, like Apple doesn't make money from infinite ad revenue. They make their money from product sales. And knowing tech companies these days, it's actually not that common anymore. Most companies just need to get popular, they need to get viral, and then they make their money via selling ads. Even Tailosive makes their money from just being popular and selling ads on our videos. It's that simple. Whereas Apple's one of the few companies left that still makes their money through selling actual hardware products. So they're more focused on that than any Siri feature you can think of. But yeah, Apple of all people understands that the digital assistants are not the future. The phone with the best digital assistant does not win. The phone with the best hardware and software wins. And the digital assistant is just a small part of that. You notice that the Pixel has the most accessible, most ready Android updates with all the best Google Assistant features. It doesn't sell very well. The Pixel phone is not a great selling phone. More Apple Watches are sold in a month than there are Pixel phones sold in a year. Okay, so like it's not, Apple knows that the digital assistant war is a very side, irrelevant topic to them. On YouTube, you may think it's like this big problem and Siri's way behind and Apple's got to have to keep up. They're not worried about it. While you may think they're worried about it, they're not. It's not a priority for them. Josh says, when are you popping the question to Louise? She watches these streams, so of course I would never talk about that on here. But no, things between us are going fine. We're happy where we are. We've been dating for 18 months now, and we're still very happy. I'll be seeing her later today, and she's going to be on the Tailosive Talks podcast, which will come out later in this week. We're going to record it today. So yeah, Louise hasn't been on the Talks podcast. So is Xander in the dungeon, Ginger Ranger? Xander is in the gaming room editing the next tech video as we speak. Yeah. Just tuning in, man. I hate being late. Dang. It's all right, Derek. Thanks for making it. Will you do phone comparisons? I don't know. I'm trying to find the videos that you guys like to see me talk about the most, and the Android reviews usually just make everyone upset. So yeah, I'm probably gonna just keep doing what I'm doing because people seem to be liking that. And I could go out and buy the Pixel 2 or buy the S9. Well, I did buy the S9 and review that. So what do you mean? You want me to buy the OnePlus 6 and be like, yeah, that's okay. That's about it, you know. Oh, and you don't want more cage match videos. Right. It's been out for, yeah, it was announced in 2015 and they still haven't fixed that charging cap problem. And that honestly upsets me. I'm like, there's so many better ways they could be handling that charging cap, and yet they haven't. They haven't done anything about it. So I'm something. I don't care. Answer my super chat, dog. Josh, I appreciate the donation, but I'm by no means required to tell you when I plan on proposing to my girlfriend or if I plan on proposing to my girlfriend. I did answer your question. My question is, my girlfriend watches these live streams. So why the heck would I talk about it on a live stream? That would ruin the surprise element of it. Anyway, if it was happening, which is not, you know, it's not in the foreseeable future. Anyway, do you think Logan did anything wrong? Yeah, I think he knows he did things wrong, and I agree with him. And he didn't ask for an apology. So, I mean, he didn't ask for forgiveness. So, yeah, I'm not going to forgive him. It's that simple. Anyway, we can talk about more of my personal life on Tailosive Talks. Go subscribe to that channel. Are you going to make a video on MacBook keyboard service program? There's not really a video to make about it. There's really just, I like that they did that. It took them too long. There's no denying that. I completely think it took them way too long to announce that they can fix those for free. Whereas they should have done that a lot sooner. But they're doing it now, and I'm happy they are. I'm like, good, finally. That's it. There's not really a video to make about it. Front page tech stream was interesting. Yes, I had a fun time there. Hey, technology guy says, hey, what would you like Apple to add to Final Cut Pro and iMovie? They need to drastically update iMovie for desktop. It's horrible. I don't know why they expect that to work the same way as mobile. iMovie mobile is pretty good. iMovie desktop, I can't stand it. I want Final Cut. Final Cut Pro is fine. I would take it on iOS though. Yeah, they need a Final Cut Pro option, or at least drastically update iMovie for the iPad. That's all I would like seeing changed. On desktop, I don't really have any requests or complaints. Maybe a couple of things here and there, like Ken Burns. I wish they weren't as progressional. So in Ken Burns on Final Cut, they start and they speed up, and then they slow down and stop. I sometimes I wish Ken Burns in Final Cut would just be hard, like just zoom in the whole time and then stop, like Premiere does it. So sometimes there's little tweaks like that I would like them to change, but nothing major. Any talks of Xcode coming to iPad? Not currently, though I would like that. What YouTubers do you like? Red Letter Media is probably my favorite channel. Movie review channels are my favorite. I don't know why people keep being mean to him. He did not. Look, if you want me, if you expect me to defend Logan Paul or try to say that Logan Paul did nothing wrong, unsubscribe and dislike this video now and stop watching all my videos. I'm okay with losing that demographic. I'm totally okay with losing the Paulers. Jake Paul, whoever they are. Whoever you're a fan of, I don't like him. I'm not a fan of the type of content. I'm not a fan of what they did. Just leave. All right. We're not gonna debate that here. All right. I'm totally cool with losing you as a fan completely. I'm okay if you never watch my videos again. Can you please check Patreon messages? I actually do fairly regularly. Either they're not coming through or I missed some. I think I'm caught up. Yeah, sometimes, guys, there's Patreon messages that I can't really go into because I don't either don't have the time or they're not questions I really care to elaborate on. If they're things like, "Hey, I donated on Patreon, but I'm not in the Patreon outros list," please feel free to message me about that. Or you donated to be a moderator during the streams and you're not a moderator. Any complication where we're not holding up our end, please bring that up. He doesn't like it. He doesn't know who I am. It doesn't care. All I'm saying is that he did plenty of things wrong. I don't defend him. If you want me to, or you don't like that I'm being mean to him, leave. I'll lose you. Don't watch Tailosive Tech if you're a Jake or Logan Pauler. I will lose that audience happily. Happily. Original iPhone or S9 Plus? Okay, in that instance, I would take the S9 Plus because going back to the original iPhone, I'd be losing more features than I'd be gaining. So than gaining from the S9 Plus. That's my argument when people bring up the whole like iPhone 6S or S9 Plus. I'm always like, as long as I can run the latest iOS on that iPhone, I will take that over an Android. All right, if you keep if you keep bringing it up, kid, I'm just gonna keep you out of the chat. I can do that. Well, let's make this easier. Let's just not talk about the Pauls on this channel because we're a tech channel and we're not. You know, we're not in the same boat at all. Okay, we're in totally different genres. Let's just drop the topic. Let's keep it at that. Will there be many differences when the new iPhone 10 2018 comes out to the current 10? I think it'll be cheaper. I think it'll start at $899, which maybe will be appealing to more people. And it'll also have the A12 chip. That's about it, dude. Maybe some slight camera updates, maybe a little bit better megapixel, maybe something weird like 5K video recording or something like that. Smart connector for charging Apple Pencil. That I think might make the Pencil look a little weird. But I would prefer is if, like, this is a $100 stylus, right? Can't we just either charge a little bit more or maybe don't charge more at all, but just have a little charge stand, like the ones I've talked about on my channel, like Oidums. Like that's where my Apple Pencil is now. It's in its charge stand. It's just a little desk thing you put on any desk or any surface. You just drop it in there. It's got a lightning port on it. You charge it via lightning. Done. The charging with the iPad thing is stupid. I'm not going to try to defend it anymore. It's just dumb. Okay, like we don't need that. By the way, if you did just become a Patreon donor, keep in mind that we can't update the Patreon outros like every single day. We will try to update them as soon as we can. And sometimes Patreon can do a bad job of notifying us when someone became a Patreon or is supported us. So sometimes if you see that something's been updated, but you're not in it or you're not being included, you're not getting your perk, please just let us know via there and we'll try to fix it. Anyway, was there a, yeah, that was Alex's super chat. I'm so ready to see what's in store for the 2018 lineup. I wonder how much stuff Apple is putting out just to distract us. Yeah, it definitely feels like that. Remember the beginning of the year when they were like, Apple's going to crack down on leaks this year. There's not going to be as many leaks as there were before. And it's like, what are you talking about? We got nonstop leaks this whole year. It was great. We knew everything that 2 weeks before it was confirmed. We were like, there's probably going to be a cheap 6.1 inch and a 10 plus. And then that's exactly what happened. Zeno says you missed out on the creator live stream last night with John, Benji, Viper, and others. I did see that. I wanted to be on that. I was on a date at the time. I was with Louise, so sorry, but I would have loved to be on that. But yeah, I would already missed a night with being with my girlfriend to be on Recycle Bin, and I didn't want to miss another night with her. So yeah, I would love to be on those creator streams. If I was available, I definitely would have joined you. But just bad time for me. What's your thoughts on eGPU? Have you had any experience? Yeah, I haven't had experience with it. I just don't think the price justifies it. If your computer is so slow that the GPU needs its own external graphics card, the thing is it costs like $600 to get a decent one. And at that point, you should just be saving your money for a new computer, not accessories for your old one. I just, if it was cheaper, I could justify it. The problem is the external GPU, like adapter, the plug that you use to connect a GPU and a new GPU combined, the price is just not worth it. It's cool that they can do that now, but it's just unnecessary. Just save your money. Work on getting a new computer. Don't buy more accessories for your old one. How do eGPUs for Macs compare to eGPUs of gaming PC? Not good. I mean, isn't the point of the gaming PC that you can upgrade it yourself? Why do you need an external one? Just replace the old one. Even I've done that. We've replaced Wyatt's GPU from 2012 with not a great one, but a newer one that runs better. So like even the Apple sheep can do that. And by the way, just my brief experience with opening up computers and swapping out parts and stuff like that, I didn't enjoy it. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to build a computer. Just the process that is very simple. It's very, very simple to replace a graphics card in a PC. I'm aware of that. And I'm not trying to say I'm a techie person. I know how to replace a GPU. No, I'm not. I know that's like the easiest thing ever. That easiest thing ever, I thought was annoying. I was like, this process is weird. I feel awkward doing this. So that's why I'm like, I don't feel like building a PC. Similarly, it's like saying, yes, I know I could save money. I could save plenty of money by building my own PC and getting a good GPU and good CPU and finding all the right drivers and getting Windows 10 installed on that. I know I could do that. I could also save money by cutting my own hair. It won't look very good, but I could learn to do it. I could take the time. I could get good at it, and I would save a lot of money. But I would rather just pay someone else to do it. To be honest, I don't think that's unfair. There's people out there who say, you know, I think I might just pay a little bit extra money for someone else to do this because I'm not great at it. I'm not doing it because I enjoy it. I wouldn't enjoy cutting my hair. Similarly, I wouldn't enjoy making my own PC. So I would rather pay a professional, whether it's Apple or some other pre-built company, to build a PC rather than me because I just don't think I'm going to do a good job. I don't have the time in the day and I don't have the interest. So I'd rather leave it to the professionals. Yes, I know who Austin Evidence. I don't watch his videos, but I know who he is. Daniel Curry super chatted. I remember a few months ago you did a video about your mental health. How are you now? I'm not sure if that was about my mental health. It was more just about my workflow. My mental health is fine. I was getting a little tired of the type of work I was doing. I feel much better now. Vacation definitely helped with that. But I was more focused on trying to find a workflow and trying to make my job more interesting so that you guys are more interested in what's going on. So I wanted to make sure that I was happy with myself, because if I'm not happy with myself, you're not going to get good content. So why are we still talking about the Pauls brothers? Either way, my job has drastically changed now that Xander is on full time, which means that very small part of the day is dedicated to talking about tech stuff. I record the video and then I send it off to him and he edits it, which means that the rest of my day I can focus on other things. Like today, we're going to be working on more edited content for the gaming channel, Tailosive Gaming. I think we're going to be talking about Breath of the Wild or something on the Nintendo Switch. And I love that my job now consists of, what am I going to vlog next? What am I going to stream next? And we're going to do a gaming stream on our Twitch and whatever we can think. Or now we get to make Saturday shorts. I'm glad you guys liked the last one. We'll definitely try to make one for this Saturday as well. So yeah, it's my job's drastically changed now from going to working on tech videos all day and filming tech videos all day to now the channels are more divvied up. So now Xander, he doesn't have to film or think of ideas. He just has to edit it. So he's got half the job that I had before, and I have half the job before because I just have to think of an idea and be able to report on it, and I film it. So it makes life a lot easier. It makes the content easier to produce. It makes me more excited because if you talk about technology and you listen to yourself talk about technology for hours and hours a day, nonstop, it kills you. It drives you insane. So having these other channels to work on, where's the fire? Are you considering going vegan? No, not even close. I love meat way too much. I don't have anything against vegans. I have vegan friends and we're good friends, but no, I would not do that myself. I actually did it in high school for a week and I could understand the appeal. Like you feel differently when you don't eat meat. It's just kind of like a different, the fire is here. That's right. Those ambulances are rushing over to Tailosive Music where all the tracks are lit. But yeah, I was vegan for like a week in high school, and I didn't eat meat for a while, and I was like, oh, this feels different. I know how it feels. Okay, this feels different. This feels interesting. Like I feel, I don't know how to describe it. It's just a different, like your stomach is in a different place. So I understand why people may go vegan. Some people I met were vegan not because they didn't want, like they didn't have anything against animal death or animals being killed for our food. They didn't have anything wrong with that. They did it purely for dietary reasons. I've seen it both ways. But I tried it for a while and I was like, okay, I get the feeling. I don't like it. I don't prefer it. I'd rather eat meat, so I'm going to keep eating meat. And I'm not a guy who's like, I'm not against the fact that we kill animals to eat them. I think it's been that way for society for a long time. I know some people disagree with that, but that's fine. You're welcome to disagree with me on that. Anyway, let's not go down the vegan like animal rights topic. We could go that route, but we're a tech channel. Let's save that for food. Is the 6S a good backup phone coming from 8 Plus? Yeah. As a backup phone, almost any phone would work. An iPhone 5, I think, could work as a backup phone. Why not? Please get on the ground. I like that approach. Yeah, that's a good approach to be in. I just, for the record, I don't hate you if you're vegan. I just wanted that to be clear. I enjoy eating animals for food. I like beef. I like chicken. I like eating meat, but I'm also not against you if you don't want to pursue that route. You're welcome to do so. Anyway, can we see your iPhone case? Sure. Oh, look at that. Nothing. I go caseless, dude. I'm all about that caseless life. I love the iPhone 10 caseless. It's great. What does Tailosive mean? You're in luck. We just uploaded an entire video about the meaning of Tailosive and the backstory behind it on Tailosive Talks. It's called Hello World. I believe episode, I can check real quick. I think it's 35. You can watch a whole video about that. We made it. Yeah. It goes back through the history of the logo, the history of the name, the history of my life and my career on YouTube. You can watch the whole video there. Anyway, can you do a cooking video? As soon as I get good at cooking, yes, I would do a cooking video. I'm not good at cooking, so that's why you're not seeing that. But yeah, best wallpaper apps. I don't, I like the built-in ones. Honestly, I'm not a guy who's into customization. If you couldn't tell, that's why Android is not terribly a part of my life. But yeah, I go with the dynamic wallpapers. I like being able to 3D touch them and stuff. Yeah, you should do a cooking video in the style of buying houses. That could be fun. As in, like, I'm not good at it, but I pretend to be good at it. That could be fun. Okay, delete my channel. I would love it. Go ahead, tell your dad to delete my channel. What was the last phone you smashed? I've never smashed a phone. When I was in middle school, I dropped an iPod Touch and I cracked the screen, but I fixed it. I fixed it myself, and replaced it. So no, I haven't shattered a phone screen ever. And I don't do drop tests. I don't like drop tests. What was your most used iPhone accessory of your vacation? Probably, where is it? Probably that Qi charger. I use that like the whole time. It's great because I charge that little battery bank via Qi, and then I put my phone on it, and it's still got a USB port that I can plug in, and then I plug that into my Apple Watch charger. So I could charge my iPhone and my Apple Watch without ports with one battery pack, and I use that on vacation quite often. Did you talk to MKBHD since the videos? Yes. We've communicated via Twitter mostly. He's responded to tweets I've asked about, and that's about it, I think. I don't want to confirm anything yet because nothing's been confirmed, but let's just say we're thinking about having him back on fairly soon to celebrate 1 year since the MKBHD collab. He hasn't responded to it yet, but that's okay because I wrote the email like this morning. So usually it takes a while for him to get back to me. But let's just put it this way. We're trying to get Marquez back on the channel for 1 year since the last collaboration. That's what I'm going for, okay? I don't know if he'll do it. Maybe he's too busy. Maybe he can't do it. Maybe he's seen something I've made recently and said, I don't want to talk to this guy anymore. All those things are possible, so no confirming anything. But I'll definitely do my best to see if we can politely and respectfully get MKBHD back on the Tailosive Tech channel for a video because we haven't talked since September of 2017. So it's been a while. It'd be fun to talk to him again. 8 Plus over 10, who? Some people prefer that size. I understand it. I used the 8 Plus for 3 months. How disruptive are MacBook dongles? I have one, and I got all my ports back. I don't know why people are like, you got to spend all this money on dongles. You buy one. You don't buy USB-C to USB-A, USB-C to SD, USB-C to Ethernet, USB-C to SD. You don't buy an adapter for every port. The USB-C port, people aren't seeing that as the most powerful Thunderbolt 3 port you can get. And there's 4 of them. You get one adapter that brings back all the ports, plus ports you didn't have on your last MacBook. And that allows you for like when you're just doing random stuff, watching videos, typing and stuff. You don't need all those ports when you're doing that. So the laptop's a lot thinner, a lot lighter than before. But if you do need all those old ports, one adapter fixes everything, brings back everything you needed before. Anyway, what iPhone color are you excited for this year? I think we may end up getting the 10 Plus because that's just the iPhone I would use. So I'm going to be getting the 10 Plus. And then we'll also, just for the sake of the review and just for the sake of the unboxing, I don't know if we'll keep it, but we may also get the iPhone 9, and I think we should get it in blue, given we haven't had a blue iPhone before. And the tech channel's blue, it would go on perfect with it. So we may be getting 2 iPhones this year, which I think would be perfect. How do you like your 10.5-inch iPad Pro? I like it fine. I use it every day. It's a good iPad, and I'm excited for the refresh. I can hear myself talking in the background. I'm being edited as we speak. I don't care for orange. I don't think I'd get an orange iPhone, but blue definitely. I'd like to see a blue iPhone with blue edges and the glass back. I think that would be cool. Do a tech vid on the future of paying, such as future of Apple Pay or even the Amazon Go store. That could be an interesting video, Chris. I think it's kind of obvious. It's like everything either accepts Apple Pay or doesn't, and they will soon, and then that's going to be the future for the most part. Or more stuff like the Amazon Go store, and they have stores like that in Shenzhen, where you can just walk in with a QR code and then just take stuff, and there's no people there. I think that's the future. How do you think CarPlay will work with portless? There has actually been a version of CarPlay that works without the Lightning cable for years, by the way. A lot of people don't realize that, but you can Bluetooth connect via CarPlay, as Sam Jones is pointing out. So yeah, you don't need a Lightning cable for CarPlay to work. What was your first and favorite console? Are you a Sony guy, Xbox dude, Nintendo boy, or the PC man? I could say I've had, other than Nintendo, I've had times where I've used all those. I definitely prefer keyboard and mouse, which is what keeps me tied to Steam and PC. I like Steam's deals. I like all the sales. And I've never really been much of a console guy, although on our gaming streams on Twitch and YouTube, I heavily preferred the PS4 because I could plug in a keyboard and mouse and play Fortnite no adapters, no dongles required. I could just plug it in keyboard and mouse, and now I can play the game. It supports keyboard and mouse. But there's rumors now that Xbox is going to support that later. Like Xbox is partnering with Razer, and they'll allow Xboxes to just, you plug in a keyboard and mouse and it just works. So that would get me interested in Xbox because I think they're a lot more affordable. I like the fact the One S only costs like $200. That's insane. It doesn't look very good. The graphics aren't impressive, but it's still a very cheap console that can game pretty well, pretty decently. I'm not a fan of controllers though, and I'm not a fan that consoles have the exclusives and you buy them based on that. I don't buy consoles based upon what games they have. So like when I grew up, I was never a big Halo guy, so I had no reason to buy an Xbox, or I was never a big Last of Us fan, so I didn't need to buy a PlayStation for that. I just buy the one that looks good and has the features I like, which for me, keyboard and mouse. So I prefer that. PS4 supports that, so that's the one I use. But I also would prefer gaming on my Mac if there were more games supported and optimized for the Mac. Sadly, there just isn't. And the options you get with PC builds and with Steam are just so much better than the $60 games and the monthly memberships you have to pay for on consoles. I hate that. Yeah, I'll try to do gaming streams as often as I can. Thoughts on buying a MacBook Air right now? Don't buy it from Apple. That's all I can suggest. There are pretty decently fair priced MacBook Airs out there you guys can get. Just don't get it from Apple. The Apple ones are not fairly priced. They're way too much for what you get out of them. Get them off Facebook. Get them on eBay. Get a good deal. Don't buy them from Apple. Apple doesn't have a good deal on a MacBook Air. Mon Dieu says, and by the way, I think Mon Dieu 72 will be our last super chat as we just crossed an hour. I'm about to buy an iMac. Should I wait and see if the upgrade to the 8th gen Intel, but sorry, I bit my tongue. 8th gen Intel, but probably risk losing the RAM upgrade possibilities. If you get a 27-inch iMac, you can still upgrade the RAM yourself. They still have a plate on the back that you can open up and replace the RAM yourself. But it all depends on the situation you're in right now. Like there definitely could be iMac upgrades coming in the September-October keyframe, in the time frame, but we couldn't wait for that. We just got a 5K iMac for our gaming channel and for backup editing because, like, I want to stream in the tech room right here, but also Xander needs to edit a video. So that's why we have the backup Mac for that. So we couldn't wait for that because Xander was coming on full time. We were fighting over the iMac Pro, like, I need to edit this, but I need to edit this. But so we were like, we need 2 editing machines. We wanted to wait for the upgrades to come at Worldwide Developers Conference, and it didn't happen. So we were like, okay, we're not going to wait another 6 months. We were already stretching out our window. We wanted to get one as soon as I sold my MacBook Pro. We were like, okay, we sold it. Let's buy a new iMac. But we were like, there could be new ones in June, so let's wait. And then there weren't. So we're like, okay, we're not waiting 6 months. So we had to get one. We know that new ones are probably coming out in October, September, but we were like, what differences really are they going to have? It's like, oh, it's faster CPUs or more RAM or whatever. Okay, whatever. Either way, we needed it now. We couldn't wait. So we had to get ours now. If you can wait, you don't need it exactly right now, then yeah, I would encourage you to wait. But, sometimes you got to. Yes, I'm against the chip readers. They still only work half the time for me. At places that don't support Apple Pay, I'll use the chip and it'll be like, insert it again, and it's just horrible. Anyway, thank you guys for your super chats and your questions. Had a great time. Appreciate it very, very much. You got a tech video on Apple augmented reality heading your way very, very soon. So thank you guys for your time. Thank you for watching the stream. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. See you soon. Oh, is it not ending? I clicked end. It won't let me end it. Wait, what do I do? Hey, everyone. I'm still here. I'm clicking end stream. YouTube's broken. I was like starting to watch the stream. I was like, okay, let's see how many people were watching. Sorry. Hello. Still here. I'm clicking watch it. Like I'm clicking end stream and nothing happens. If I sign into chat, it leaves the stream. This might end the stream. I don't know. Okay, I'll just try quitting it. So in case this works, I'll go ahead and sign you out again. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I hope you all have an excellent day. Take care.